Welcome on into You Heard with Nerds. I'm Brett.
I'm Dorian. What we're going to be talking about today, Fresh Prince of Bel Air is getting a reboot. Halo Infinite is getting delayed. Fortnite is declaring war on Apple and Google. But first things first, Brett, in
Yeah,
2018, I bought a ticket, a train ticket for
a train ticket.
Netflix's, a train ticket for Netflix's
Oh
live
yeah,
action Avatar. I bought a
yeah.
ticket to the hype train. I
Hey,
now want to return that ticket
no
because
refunds. No refunds.
I demand everything right
Yeah.
now.
So what
Because
Dorian's basically saying is
yeah,
we're all screwed if we had hopes for any kind of good, okay, not good, great Netflix Avatar
amazing.
series live action. It has all but come to pass at this point. So part of that being the creators of Avatar, Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko, are
Mhm.
no longer attached to the project due to creative differences, which is the big stress I want there. It's not because of
Scheduling
schedule.
conflicts or
Yeah, none of
whatever.
that. It's probably the nail in the coffin. Honestly, with creative difference is always never it's never a good thing. It's never a
It-
good thing, and especially when you're handling material like you're the guys who created this show, you're the guys who know the material the best,
Yeah,
and now you're
you
parting ways with Netflix because they're not
you
letting you essentially do what you want to do.
right. You know the characters the best. You've written them from like before they were even a word on a paper basically here. But
Yes.
yeah, apparently like these ties between the creators of the Avatar series and Netflix, they were cut back in June. We're just now hearing about it now. And matter of fact, I
Sure.
think this is like the first actual piece of news we've actually heard about this series since it was initially announced in like 2018. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is like the whole creative differences thing. That is what really gets me here
Yeah.
because if it was like, yeah, scheduling conflict, but they, but, uh, but the creators like approved the script and the cast and all the other things that were going on with it,
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, I mean, granted, it would be nice if they were more involved, but, that's fine. But the fact that they are leaving because the writers and the producers and Netflix that, all these people that are coming around the project basically are saying, yeah, we don't want to go with your vision does not bode well at all here. And,
No.
um, I mean, honestly, I mean, here's the thing. It will probably be better than M. Night Shyamalan's
Well, it's hard
Last
to be
Airbender.
worse.
It's very hard to be worse here. So, I mean, that's like the silver lining in this announcement. Like, no matter how bad this could get potentially, it will not get as bad as M. Night Shyamalan. I mean, if it is, my gosh, like Netflix will have to answer to a lot of people for that here. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks because this we were talking about like in our Thursday throwbacks about like kind of what we wanted to see from this here, and I wanted to see like okay, being able to take this story and like translate it into like something like along the lines of like a PG-13 Marvel or Star Wars movie where it can have like a wider appeal to an audience because it's a good story to tell, it's a interesting world, all these things. And now like my hopes for this actually uh shaping up to be the amazing product we all envision is
Yeah.
not looking very likely anymore. Matter of fact, I'd say like it's slim to none.
Yeah, for it to be the level we want, I just don't see it happening unless there's enough left behind by Brian and Michael to advance it and leave it in good hands. Now, I can't remember, were they the showrunners of this actual show or were they just brought on as producers? I don't
I
remember.
think I'm pretty sure they were the showrunners here because I mean, I'm pretty sure they had some producer credits in there, but I
Yeah,
believe like the big deal about all this was that they were going to be the showrunners
right.
here.
Yeah, so
So
that's I mean,
I
it
mean,
it depends on who they bring in. I mean, no one's going to be as good as these guys, but
right,
you know, yeah, I
yeah,
don't see it going well from here. From what I understand, there's nobody cast at this point.
No, probably not.
So they haven't even started actual production on this yet. So I I can't remember when they said, was this supposed to come out in 2021? Was that like the
I'm not entirely sure, like, if they even actually set a release date. This was just kind of more of like a, um, like they just announced it. I don't think they really like put like an actual date behind it here. That they were just saying that
yeah.
this was in the
Either
works.
way, you have soured my day with this
Yeah.
news, Dorian, because
Yep.
uh it's just something I thought would actually, I mean, you could argue there's seasons of Korra that aren't great.
Yeah. No. No.
But those guys put out pretty much
It's
diamond work, like diamond level work, just top tier
yeah.
stuff that, is, for the most part, their series are pretty airtight. There's, a
Oh
couple
yeah.
episodes here and there, but
Yeah.
um
Well,
for
it's kind of like how I envision like some of the seasons or episodes of Game of Thrones here, where like when we have like not the greatest episode or a bad episode, it's still typically better than like the majority of what's put out on television here. And I
right.
feel like that's the same way for like animation with this series.
Yeah, so my only thing would be, let's wait and see who actually gets brought into this, or if this even happens now.
Yeah.
That could also be a thing, is that they don't continue on with the partnership. This is very
Mhm.
odd timing because Korra literally dropped this last week on Netflix.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
So
they did. Well, and then like prior to that, like, just like literally like almost like maybe a month or 2 weeks before apparently they cut ties, they dropped Last Airbender on here. So
yeah,
it's kind of interesting that they were doing this push, and then all of a sudden this happens here. So no, it's kind of a crazy thing. I mean, the only way I can see this actually being a good thing is if like we actually know more details on like what exactly the creative differences were,
yeah,
because if it was like mostly just because like the creators of the show were trying to do something that works in animation, doesn't really work as well as in like live
live
action or
action, yeah,
something like that, okay, I'd be like, okay, this actually makes sense in
yeah,
terms of like a departure, yada yada yada. But I mean,
sure,
as of right now, it seems like more of a story thing than anything.
yeah, I agree.
So
But this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down,
yeah, it's
and I'd
literally
like to
like
take a minute
upside
to
down.
sit right here and tell you how all y'all I became the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So
Yeah.
this is a comedy series, sitcom, whatever you want to call it, that both of us
Yeah.
grew up with.
Oh
Fresh,
yeah. No.
Fresh, Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and now, so real quick, there is background to this, I guess, because there was like a fan made film or like short
Yeah.
that went viral a little, like, I don't know, like maybe a year ago, maybe more now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it got
I,
the attention of the actual Fresh Prince, Will Smith,
mm-hmm.
and they're basically making a new series that's going to be the Fresh Prince, but it's going to be a drama. It's not going to be a comedy.
Right.
So
Exactly.
how does this work exactly?
So there's a couple things I see that are a problem here. Number one, this is a show that's a product of its time. Rebooting it is completely like unnecessary and useless unless it's gonna like take place in the 90s, for one.
It probably will.
I mean, I would hope so here. So that has to happen first and foremost if like this is actually going to be worth anything. But the second thing, the entire premise of the show is comedic. It's about a street kid that moves in with his rich extended family, and they got to deal with the fact that he's got his way of living, they got their way of living, he has his own opinions of the world, they have their own opinions on the world, and they have like that conflict dynamic basically. So it's really just surprising that say, yeah, this thing, we're going to turn it into a drama here. And that's not to say that Fresh Prince hasn't had like its moments where it's like
Sure.
been a little dark or been very dramatic. Like there was the episode where Will finally meets his dad, and then
Yeah.
there's also the one where uh, Carlton accidentally gets hooked on drugs and stuff like that, and it was because it was Will's fault, and like kind of ends in like very like serious, kind of a serious ending to that episode. But no, and the third thing about this is, you know, Will Smith is the Fresh Prince. That is Will Smith. This is him at his finest. It's like I don't get why let's, recast, somebody. If you were to do like a sequel series or something
Right.
like
That would make
that,
way more sense.
much more sense here, and if it, I mean, heck, it's like, but yeah, we're going to have, Will Smith and the creators of the original show serve as executive producers on this here. So I mean, obviously, they have like the people who were behind the original stuff
Yeah.
that made the show great from the get go. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it's just such an odd choice. I mean, I haven't seen that fan film, but
I haven't seen all. I've seen like clips of it.
but I'm just, but it's just, I mean, again, it's a fan film. Like a fan film is like, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. We're talking like, an entire like series with, that goes for like, 30 minutes of episode, maybe, probably, and a couple of seasons here. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just not about it. So let's
me
talk about
neither.
a series revival or reboot that we're actually excited about.
Yeah, yeah. So
Uh,
we're talking some X-Men.
yeah. So X-Men the animated series from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Disney said that they're like pretty much on board with doing this once they acquired Fox. Like this was something they wanted to do. Now, will it
Mm-hmm.
actually happen? I don't know, but there's been more and more talks of the showrunner meeting with Disney and
Mm-hmm.
them kind of going, yeah, I mean, if we want to do this,
Let's do it.
let's figure something out. There hasn't been anything that's come out. Disney hasn't said anything, so nothing's official, but these are
Yeah.
talks that have been being had.
Right. And I mean, I guess this has been something that has been rumored for a couple years of a revival of the 90s animated X-Men show. That being, yeah, I mean, and they have to bring back that theme song.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm out. Like, it can, you cannot have that show without that theme song. I mean, I feel like, the likelihood of this happening is probably pretty likely just because obviously they have the X-Men show on Disney Plus for one here. So that's one way to kind of get, people who grew up on it and also new people into uh, the show. But also, I think they'll probably time it with like when they start making like maybe X-Men movies or something like that from the MCU potentially. Something
Yeah, or right
kind of,
before.
yes,
There's
kind of
rumors
like,
of Wolverine being in this next slate, like at least as a cameo.
right.
Have you heard the rumors about that? Like who they like Shia LaBeouf is rumored to play Wolverine.
God help us all.
Yeah. So I don't know what that would look like, but that's what I've been seeing is lots of fan art and really,
I,
John Krasinski's in that same boat with Mr.
yeah.
Fantastic. Like people are almost willing these people into these positions and they're
Yeah.
listening almost like because we know John Krasinski has had multiple talks as
Yeah,
of
with
late.
Marvel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, no, so I mean so hard to say. I mean, I don't buy a whole lot of stock into the Shia LaBeouf Wolverine
no,
thing.
I don't either.
I mean, if I bought into like all that rumor stock, like The Dark Knight Rises should have had Cher cast as Catwoman and Justin Bieber cast as Robin here. So it's
That would have
like,
been a great movie.
and then I think Miley Cyrus was supposed to be like Batgirl or
Yeah,
something
no,
like
it
that.
makes
So
sense.
yeah, total sense. But anyhow, so yeah, so I mean, I'm just kind of interested in terms of like what would they actually do with this revival here, because I mean, like, would this actually uh be like a time jump? Would it like try to take place like right after where they left off or whatnot? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be a continuation or just a complete reboot.
I mean, well,
Um,
I don't think it would make sense for it to be a reboot per se because I mean, it would be because at that point it's like, why call it a
already done that.
revival,
Yeah,
or why even bring it back? Because they've had like X-Men
plenty.
shows that have come and gone, all like,
Yeah.
quite a few of them. So yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Speaking of revival, coming a life day near you,
Yep.
Lego Star Wars Christmas special. It's not your grandma's Christmas special.
Nope.
This is a whole new thing. So it's coming to Disney Plus on November 17th.
Mm-hmm.
Takes place after the Rise of Skywalker and is set right before Life Day happens, which is the Star Wars equivalent of Christmas. And it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of going to follow Rey and BB-8's journey to find out more about the Force.
Yeah. So,
So,
so I just want to let our listeners and viewers know that if you ever wanted to like waste about 2 hours of your life and felt
yeah.
like, I need my Star Wars with a little bit more holiday cheer kind of to it or something like
Mhm.
that, go on YouTube, watch the Star Wars Christmas special. You're welcome, because that
You're
basically
welcome.
back before um the Empire Strikes Back came out, they and like, so this was in between like, New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. They had a Star Wars Christmas special for
With all the
uh
legit actors.
yeah, with Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford. I mean, granted, they were like only in it for like maybe about 5 minutes, to be
Hey,
completely honest.
hey, 5
But
minutes is 5 minutes.
5 minutes is 5 minutes. But that being said, it is like probably like one of the cringiest like things to ever come out of the Star Wars franchise. But
I
it
mean, it
is
makes
what it
the
is.
prequels look like straight fire, like
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, no,
so we're getting a kind of a revival of that, but in no way, shape, or form similar.
yeah.
I just thought it was funny that they're doing a Lego Star Wars version of this.
I mean,
Uh,
that's probably the safest bet, in all
oh, yeah, for
honesty.
sure.
Yeah,
Well, and it's one of those things too where it's like it's another thing on Disney Plus for the kids to watch around that time because we're not getting
right.
anything else at this point.
I mean, at this point, no,
Well,
no.
we'll get Mando,
Hopefully,
hopefully. Man, I feel like revivals are just all there is today. Like Tron
oh,
3 is coming out.
yeah.
We just got word with
At least
that.
this week, yeah, yeah.
So, I mean,
Revivals.
there's been rumors in the past of a Tron 3 after Tron Legacy's I don't know if you wanna call it success. I really like that movie.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I think it had like a decent amount of success. I think it made a decent amount of money. It was by and large like, decently to well received here. Um, yeah, so I mean, and they seems like at the end of that movie they were definitely setting it up for a sequel here,
yeah,
and never really came to be. Yeah, I think we are actually 10 years later from
yeah,
when Tron Legacy came out. I think it came out in 2010.
it did, yeah.
So yeah, so 10 years later, we're finally getting some momentum on a Tron 3 here. And Jared Leto is going to be starring. And they found a director, this guy named Garth Davis. I guess this is going to be his directorial debut for like a big budget film. So
Uh-oh.
yeah, I mean,
We'll
doesn't
see.
exact. We'll see. I
I don't
mean,
know,
who
Tron's
knows?
one of those things that I feel like it's like a hard movie to crack because it's, like, very much CGI, like,
Hmm.
uh yeah, I mean, Jared Leto so is he gonna play Sam? Is he gonna play, uh, the
Jeff
son?
Bridges' kid.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is like I feel like that would, because if that is like who he's going to play, that seems like a kind of a wasted opportunity for Jared Leto, and I don't think like Jared Leto would really sign on to play just like kind of like a, by and large, pretty stereotypical like protagonist here. Jared Leto
Yeah,
is like a method actor. He likes to, you know, do things like odd, or like, play like odd characters. Like he likes to play the Joker. He likes to play like that blind guy in Blade Runner. The new Blade Runner that came out here.
never saw it.
He likes to play Morbius, or he likes to play
Yeah.
these characters where he can really flex his skills as an actor here. And
So
so,
is he I can see him being the villain, I don't really see him being the protagonist, though.
well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Is like if it was the villain, I'd be like, oh yeah, it makes total sense. But no, he's supposed to star in it. So I mean, unless like this is a movie about the villain, as which would be
I mean,
kind of
you can still
interesting.
star in a movie, but you're not the protagonist,
Yeah, I
like
guess so.
Tom Hiddleston stars in Thor,
Right.
but
No,
he's the
no, I get
bad guy. You know?
right. No, I get what you're saying here. I mean, it's just like the way like this news was
Yeah,
presented.
it
I
did.
interpreted
Yeah,
as that he was going to be the main character
it
here.
did kind of
But
seem that way, but we'll see what happens.
yeah, I mean, I could be wrong on that and just generalizing on the news that we've heard, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk some more movies. We'll just talk theaters for a second before we get into
Yeah.
some game action. But AMC, they're coming
Hmm.
back August 20th.
Yep, they are, and they're also kicking off their 100th year anniversary too here, which is kind of crazy. I didn't know they were around for that long here,
Me neither.
but yeah, and so because they opened in 1920, they are bringing it back to where they are selling tickets for 15 cents a pop, just like they did in 1920 here for one day only on August 20th here. And so, but it won't be like you're not going to go see like Bill and Ted, The Tenant, or Mulan for this price.
Right.
This is going to be showing quote unquote legacy movies. So like things like Black Panther, Empire Strikes Back, and then after this is after August 20th, they are going to be raising that price to $5 a ticket for like the legacy movies. So honestly, I'm a really big fan of being able to see like older movies for a cheaper price on a big screen. I think honestly every theater should do this. I mean, they kind of do it like for like anniversary showings for some things, but I feel like there is some money to be made by showing like some of your favorite movies of all time on a big screen here.
Yeah.
I would pay like I would pay money to go see the Dark Knight trilogy in a theater at least like once a year probably.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you just went and saw him too. I mean,
Yeah, at least the Dark Knight, yeah.
right. Um, yeah, I think that's a cool idea. Now, the closest AMC we have is in Washington, and I don't know if this is all AMC's across the border opening or just
Yeah,
select ones.
I think it's select ones here. I don't
Okay.
I don't know the exact numbers or which ones are actually opening or not, but yeah, I mean it's but if you if you're healthy enough, you feel good enough about venturing out and like going to watch a movie, I mean, it's a banger deal for like to watch like a dope movie on a big screen here.
Oh, so my wife's showing me something where it's showing all the reopenings. None of them in Washington.
Ah
We're
man,
host. It's like
that sucks.
Utah, Virginia. A couple others are like in September, Wisconsin, Wyoming, and that's it.
Yeah,
So we
shame.
don't get the 15-cent tickets, but maybe they'll keep the $5 uh legacy movies around for a while. I mean, they're gonna
Yeah,
have to because there's nothing out.
I mean, no, exactly. And well, especially considering how there is no guarantee that like certain movies are going to stick to like the release dates. Like Black Widow, that
Who
could
knows?
very well get pushed or become a Mulan situation. We don't know. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if they're smart, I would definitely say, yeah, keep the legacy movie thing going on. Start playing like the classic movies, or just
Star
movies
Wars,
that,
yeah.
yeah, movies that may have come out like a couple years ago, but haven't been able to watch, since in the theaters. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, totally. All right, in gaming news, Halo is infinitely delayed.
Till
Uh,
2021,
till 2021 maybe.
maybe we'll find out.
Supposedly due to COVID-19, but we know that's not that case.
No.
What's the case here, Dorian?
Well, here's the thing. If this was really about COVID-19, now, granted, bear in mind, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt because I'm not a game developer. I don't know the industry like
Yes, you are.
super, super well. I mean, okay, sure. But anyhow, so that being said, if this was really about COVID-19, I feel like this delay would have been announced like probably a while ago. But it's kind of coming off the heels of that Xbox showcase that they had about a month back, where they
Yeah,
actually showed gameplay footage of Halo Infinite for the first time,
and it
and
wasn't great. It was not
people
great.
people like at least a general consensus on the internet, from what I can tell, people are underwhelmed. Like the graphics didn't do it for them, the gameplay didn't do it for them. They just basically said, okay, this is basically Halo. You're just putting an open world spin onto it, and
Yeah.
the graphics don't look like nearly as good, especially because Halo. used to be the franchise that you go and you say, look at Halo. This is the cutting edge of graphic technology right now here, you know? So,
Yeah. My thing is right now is, Xbox Series X is still slated to come out in November.
mhm.
What does this mean for their sales in November? Is there another game that they're going to rely on? Because
I don't think they have time to like really pull like another exclusive
right,
like, you know, killer app, a banger for like their launch. I mean, Halo was
unless
going
they
to
have
be
something
it.
in their back pocket, but I don't think they do. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't see really a reason to drop the Xbox that early, and other than it's going to sell for the holidays. But what game are you going to play on it?
Yeah, I mean, well, and
Your
that's
old
kind
Xbox games?
well, and that's the thing is like Halo Infinite was never going to be a complete like Xbox Series X
No, 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 no.
exclusive here. But that being said, it's like I mean, that's kind of my issue with like this launch that we got coming up here, you know. It's like there's not like really like on both sides like really a big banger game to
No.
play. I mean, granted, like Sony does have Spider-Man Miles Morales, but
Eh,
that's honestly not, I don't think, going to be like the big PS5 experience that people are wanting to play like right away. And also, it's supposed to be like a shorter standalone game, so it's not going to be like a
right,
full-fledged 2018 PS4 Spider-Man game. If
right.
you're expecting like that same similar like, amount of like length or whatnot. But I mean, here's what I see about like this whole delay. This is bad for the Xbox Series X delay because either way, I feel like people would have bought um, Halo and an Xbox Series X together with this, kind of like how we bought Zelda and a Switch
Yeah,
on day one. Here, we could have
right,
bought it on our Wii U's here, but we're like, no, we're gonna get in on like this new console and like have this be the thing that we play here.
right.
So this is bad for the Xbox Series X. It's good for Halo Infinite because that game I feel like needed to be polished up more in terms of like its graphics and whatnot if it was actually going to wow people basically.
I agree. I think this is really bad for the Xbox Series X, but really good for Halo fans.
Mm-hmm.
It's just gonna
So
it's just gonna be a better game.
yeah, right. I mean, ultimately, like pretty much any delay is usually like kind of a good thing just because it's allowing developers to actually, you know, refine or polish their game more per se. So, I mean, jury's still out. I mean, basically, there's like like I feel like Halo fans have become kind of like Star Wars fans. Like you're never going to put out like a product that's really going to satisfy every one in the fan base or the majority of the fan base. You're going to have people who like Reach who are going to be happy. You might have people
Ba-doom-tsh.
who might like the original ones, who might not be happy, like the 1, 2, and 3 Halos. You might have people who liked 5 or 4 or something like that. I don't know, but that's kind of like what I've been seeing online. Is like there's just been a bunch of people who, I mean, the fan base has just been very splintered.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's a different concept than I think we're used to for Halo, and so
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of intrigue. Like people would have bought this game in droves, just because it's different. Not, I don't even
Well,
think they had to worry too much about the graphic situation.
I mean, the thing is like it has Halo's name on it, but I think it's like with the last couple of Halo games, you have like a decent amount of people who weren't really satisfied with them. Like people weren't like crazy about Halo 4 or 5 in terms of like campaign or whatnot here.
Well, I
So
mean, I remember getting Halo 5, I think, and
mhm.
uh, I think Darren got it too. I don't remember who all got it. That was friends of mine, but we didn't boot up the campaign. We just went
Yeah,
straight into multiplayer together.
sure. I mean, and that's the thing is like the multiplayer here, like that's like always been a reliable thing about Halo here, but I think like this is like 343's chance to try to win back like goodwill on like actually making like a campaign that actually stands with like the best Halo campaigns. And the fact
Yeah.
that you know like their showcase that they showed was like very lackluster, I think was like kind of like, okay, we gotta like ramp this up because remember the multiplayer is going to be free to play on this thing. So you are
Yeah.
essentially buying the campaign for this game.
Right.
So,
Well, let's talk about some other more, in my opinion, more exciting news. Bioshock 4 is happening.
yeah, I mean, basically 2K said that they are, continuing to do Bioshock games regardless of whether or not Irrational Games is involved or not. They own the franchise now. So they are starting to hire for essentially Bioshock 4, but the company that they are putting in charge of the Bioshock franchise, Cloud Chamber, is basically posted a job listing that says it's they were looking for people to help breathe life into a new and fantastical world. So, based on that description, new and fantastical, it kind of seems like this isn't going to be a Rapture or Columbia. It's going to be a completely new location that we're going to be going to. And personally, I don't know. I don't know how much faith I have in this game without like Ken Levine being involved in terms of like the story and like some of the setting ideas and all that. But we'll see. I mean, I got once as like things are starts to materialize more, I'll have maybe a little bit more of an informed opinion.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we pretty much got the news that it's not going to be Columbia, it's not going to be Rapture. So what is it? That's kind of the next thing.
Yeah.
Two very different settings as well.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
So I wonder if we'll get like a medium between, because you had Columbia, which was like kind of the opposite of Rapture in a lot of ways, where it was kind of like that 19 whatever.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, like turn of the century, kind of like
Yeah.
Carnival of Wonders type
Yeah.
thing
Exactly.
here.
Carnival of Wonders, like picture
Very
perfect.
steampunk, basically kind of a utopia with like a
Yep.
but it has like this kind of dark underbelly to it, to where it's like, okay, things seem like they're pretty good on the surface, but there's like like some dark and sinister stuff that's kind of going on underneath here, whereas like Rapture was like essentially like
The opposite.
this great experiment that just went totally wrong and everything just went just to crap basically here.
So I wonder if we'll get like a medium between them, or if you'll visit multiple places. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, what they have to do is they have to nail the atmosphere, because that's like the one of the biggest things about the Bioshock games. They have to nail the atmosphere,
Nail the powers and the guns and
nail the powers, nail the guns,
combat.
and also the story. I
Yes,
mean,
the story is the biggest part.
it's very big. And so if they can do that, then okay, we got ourselves a game here. But again, it's like how much of that can you do without like, the original geniuses behind it here, because the creative team that worked on, the first couple of games, they're not really all that much involved anymore from what I understand. So we'll find out.
Yeah. All right. Well, war has been declared
Yeah.
in Fortnite.
Very much so. Yeah. Well, and on mobile here, so
Yeah, I mean, Fortnite is essentially declaring war on mobile carrier, like not mobile carriers, but mobile designers and the people like Apple, Google, uh,
yeah. Yeah.
all over
So
V-Bucks. This is all over
yeah,
them profiting more. It's
yeah.
honestly ridiculous. Like,
So
get into the
well,
specifics real quick for
yeah,
everyone, Ryan.
let me get into the specifics. That way we got everybody on the same page here. So, Epic Games launched a campaign against Apple and Google, as we mentioned. They've added a feature in the mobile versions of the game where they can buy from Epic Games directly for like their in-game purchases, which are known as V-Bucks. And what this is a breach of the the App Stores and the Google Play Stores terms and conditions. Basically, they are supposed to get 30% of all the in-game and app purchases from all apps and all developers here for whatever here. And so basically, Epic basically bypass that and say, no, we're gonna allow our consumers to buy from us directly here. And so that being said, Apple and Google pull Fortnite off their services. So they are no longer, you can no longer download them, at least as of right now, August 16th, 2020. You cannot re-download Fortnite onto your smartphone or tablet. So Epic Games is basically claiming that they are doing this to defy the monopoly that these companies uh, have on developers, and taking like 30% cut of like all the apps that they put on there, and all the profits that these apps make here. So shortly after Apple pulled the Fortnite app off of their app store, Epic Games released a 1984 style video against Apple with Fortnite characters and assets, which does play when you start up the game
Yeah,
here,
it's
and
right in your face.
it's circulating all over online here as well. Um, and now Epic Games is suing Apple and Google for the removal of their game on their platform. That's basically like pretty much is like what is up to date, at least at this point in time. So,
Yeah.
a
There's a
lot to
lot
be
there.
said about this. So, for starters, this has to be one of the most disingenuous publicity stunts I have seen from a company in a long time. Like, this is because the thing is like Epic Games knows that they are not going to win this legal battle against Apple
No.
and Google, because I mean, like, they legitimately violated like an agreed upon terms and conditions on this thing here. And so it's like, yeah, if you violate the terms and conditions of this, yeah, we're going to pull your app until like you are actually within the terms and conditions of all this.
Yeah.
So, and and so I mean, really, this is not about winning a legal battle. It's more or less a tool to wage war on Apple and Google's image, and they're using or trying to use their fan base against them here. Basically saying Apple and Google took off your favorite game off their services. They suck. You should join us and like speak out against them, more or less.
Right.
And Fortnite does not care, honestly, about these companies taking 30% from the developers, because if they really, really did, they should be doing doing the same thing to Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo, because those companies roughly take about 30% of from their developers that put on their platform here. So they get like about 30% of the profits, and like all the of like, whether that's just buying the game or buying stuff in the game here.
Right.
So, and the fact that they had the 1984 video to go ready to go up the moment they got their app pulled from the store. I mean, it tells you that they knew exactly what they were doing. They
Yeah.
knew they were going to get
Well,
everything
they had
pulled.
that
And
trailer right away, pretty much after this is all being announced.
like 5 minutes after they got pulled or something
Yeah.
like that. It was really quick here. And, so no, they knew full well what they were doing. And then, by the way, there's a lot bigger things to compare 1984 to in
Oh
2020.
gosh.
You
Name
you guys,
anything.
yeah, you guys just deciding that you don't want to pay Google and Apple like the money that you guys agreed upon is not it here. So
To me, it's like a child throwing a tantrum.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, they're obviously irate about something, and I don't know for how much money they've probably made off of being able to be in the app stores and
mm-hmm.
on. It's like, what are you doing? Like,
Well, and that's the thing. It's like,
then don't have your
really,
game in there. Don't you shouldn't have agreed to the 30%.
right, exactly. So I mean, and the thing is like, obviously Epic has the Epic Games store. I think that's the right title for their Steam like based service here. So I mean, obviously they do have like, their own platform that they can do things on here. I don't know if like they're trying to like make a big push to like, get everybody to play Fortnite on that, because I don't see that happening. For one, I feel like they got another thing coming if that's what they're trying to do. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out like what exactly is their end goal. Obviously, they got beef with like Google and Apple specifically, and not for like really legitimate reasons, in my opinion, because if it was legitimate, they would be saying the same exact thing as, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo about all this here. So
Yeah.
I'm just so I don't know what exactly they want their end game is. I know they're trying to weaponize like, the people who like their game and play their games on like these devices against them here. But all I gotta say is you're a fan of this game that, and you play it on your mobile device or a tablet or something like that,
Sorry.
don't blame Google or Apple. Blame Epic Games for deciding to do this, because they've intentionally did it. They knew what was going to happen, and they're honestly just trying to get you pissed off at somebody else, when honestly you should just be getting pissed off at them. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Realistically, yeah.
so
Yeah, I think it's kind of a crock. It's like a big kid, little kid situation on the playground, and the big kid is like,
yeah. Well, it's just 100% of manufactured controversy here. Like, and I mean,
yeah,
it's and it's
that's the
it's
annoying
not
part.
it's not like and it's not like, it's basically Epic Games manufactured a controversy, and now they're crying that they've been victimized by these, big bad companies here and all that. And it's like, okay,
I'd love
no,
to know how
you
much they made, just from being in the app store. Like, and really, what people should be looking at is probably those numbers, and not that they're not making 30%.
yeah, 30% more of like what
They're
they would
making
actually be making.
70%. Like,
Well, they are making 70%, but it's also like Fortnite is still the biggest game in the world right now here, It's
yeah,
still like pulling in numbers like on a huge level. So I don't know if it was just the fact that they felt like they needed to do something in order to like uh be more front and center in the conversation or something. All I know is this is just like one of the dumbest moves I've seen in a long time.
I agree.
I mean, hopefully it comes back to bite them, because my gosh.
I think we'll see. I mean, it probably will. I mean, it was a joke. Like, after watching the cinematic trailer before we were playing, and then at
Yeah,
the end it just says hashtag free Fortnite. I was like, are you kidding me right now?
it's
Like,
like, you put it in chains. You guys are the ones who decided that, like, we're gonna do something that's gonna make it get pulled from the app store, and then we're gonna blame, Google and Apple for them doing it here.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's
All
talk
right.
roundtable review real quick.
All right. So we got one thing for you this week. Hyperscape. Now I didn't play it, but you've played it, correct?
Yeah, I've played a little bit of it. I mean, I probably played a few 10 matches. Not anything crazy. Like, this.
Okay.
This is a first impression, first look. And for me, I was kind of hyped going into it, and I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but um, it didn't really do it for me. Like, kind of bummed I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. Now I don't know. This could honestly be battle royale fatigue on my own part, of like,
Mm-hmm.
just playing so many of them.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
I thought in this is a buggy game at best right now. Not this game, but Rogue Company. I
Oh
get a
yeah.
lot more enjoyment out of, because it's something different. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
it's not a typical. It's not a battle royale. It's a tactical shooter, which they don't really have on consoles. It's mostly PCs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so honestly, like, it was, I don't know. It's a hard game to kind of navigate. It's very vertical. Like, there's a lot of going up and
Yeah.
up buildings, and I don't know. It just kind of seemed blah, though. Like, the environment seemed blah. Like, uh, it just didn't deliver. I don't think on what I thought it would. At least my
Okay.
expectations were kind of dashed. Now, when this game, there was a big push on Twitch, and then about a week later, no one was playing it, and now I
Mm-hmm.
understand why. There's not really anything to keep you around. There's not. There's one map. It's which is, I guess, the same for any battle royale.
For
But
the
try
most part,
try
yeah.
try getting in the game with two of the biggest franchises, Call of Duty and Fortnite, right now, and it's just not going to go well. Like,
Yeah.
it's not different enough, I don't think. Like, you have hacks, they call them, but they're basically just perks from other
Yeah.
games, like, where you can, like, shoot a wall up in front of you, which, I mean, it's cool, but like, Valorant does that, like, so they have those kind of elements of a tactical shooter, but it's not really that tactical. Not at
Yeah.
least how I was playing, and maybe I'm just bad at the game, which I am.
Yeah.
Um, but there's different buffs you can, like, different things like that you can get, and it is kind of cool if you have the gun you like and you see it again, it like upgrades your gun, and you can do
Mm-hmm.
that 5 times, and then it's maxed out. But yeah, I mean, I'll have to touch back on this later, but it was kind of underwhelming for me, just from a
Yeah.
first look.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, yeah, battle royales are kind of in like a really weird spot. I mean, it's like you have to like I feel like really do something different if you're actually going to make it or have like a big name like Call of Duty attached to your battle royale here.
Totally.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of like one of the reasons why Fall Guys is actually kind of getting a little bit of popularity right now, just because
Yeah, that could
it's
be the next
different.
thing. Yeah.
It's different, you know. It's different enough that from like, you know, your typical battle royale, and it's kind of like a gang beast battle royale. It's not like
Right.
really meant to be like uber competitive. Like you're probably not going to see an esport of Fall Guys or anything like that, but it's fun to watch and it's also kind of fun to play.
Yeah, and I think Fall Guys honestly is probably the better representation of where games are going. At least something that's different that kids are gonna be interested in. And part of that being because I got a text the other day from a parent who was like, "Hey, I know you can, kind of play some games. Is Fall Guys okay for my kids to be downloading and playing with their friends?" I said, "Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's totally okay, from what I understand." And to get that from multiple people asking, it's kind of like, okay, this is going to be a popular game, at least
Yeah.
in that age group, that middle school
Yeah.
age group. So
Well, especially right now, like on PlayStation Plus,
it's free.
it's
Yeah,
like free. So I mean, you know, if you're already like subscribed, this is like, okay, yeah, this is just a kind of a little cherry on top, a little bonus for everybody. But yeah,
totally. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. You can check us out on our YouTube, obviously, anywhere podcasts are at. Hit us up on our social medias. Have an awesome week, and remember, everyone's nerd about something.